go to our next question from Jessica from California. Thank you for writing in, Jessica. Jessica says, my partner and I have been together for 3 years. We are generally happy, but I feel that we are growing distant. For example, she had a big work presentation last week and I had no idea. I could also tell she just barely remembered my birthday. I worry we will just drift apart and our relationship will fizzle out. My partner and I don't communicate. What can we do? This is rough. This is a hard question. It's these, I love getting these questions, and also I'm always wanting so many more details and context. I think that after 3 years, we can move into a place of familiarity. And with familiarity and comfort can sometimes come, I don't want to say carelessness, but like a sense of taken for granted. We can take our partner for granted because they've now been embedded in the fabric of our lives. And so they're there. We know that they're going to be there for us. So it could be an indication of a really healthy, secure attachment. It could also be the indication that, yeah, you're taking each other for granted and something needs to sort of be shifted. So let's take a look at this. Oh, all right. So in preparation for this question, and I work with a fair amount of couples in my therapy and coaching practice. It's some of my favorite work to do. It's also the hardest. Couples statistically research has shown that couples actually enter therapy 6 years after they've experienced significant distress in their relationship. And so by the time they're with me, there's been 6 years of general discord and dissent. And so the work is often more emotional, more volatile, and sometimes it takes a little bit longer. So if you're hearing this, I would just say, if you're feeling not great in your relationship, don't wait 6 years to go to therapy. Just go now. I think there's a ton of stigma around couples therapy, more than any other therapy that I do. But I think it's like a circle, because a lot of people who enter couples therapy have been seriously distressed for many years, and it's the end of their relationship. That hasn't, I've had more people remain together than not. But it takes a lot of work when you're 6 years in distress. It is still 100% possible. I just want to tell you that, though. Anyway, so in preparation for this question, and for a lot of the couples that I meet with, this question comes up a lot, is we're not connected to each other. And when we do connect, we're arguing. So, humans are hardwired to avoid pain. Makes sense, right? Like, why would we seek pain? And so when we're in a relationship and the interactions tend to not be good, what are we going to do? We're just going to avoid those interactions. Even if it's subconsciously, we're going to avoid them. We will avoid them. So couples, I think without knowing it, will avoid communication with each other when they're in a tough spot, when what they need more than anything is communication with each other. So it becomes a vicious circle. Even very small things like your partner's in the kitchen making coffee and you got in an argument a couple days ago, things have kind of smoothed out, but you decide you're going to put your earbuds in and listen to a podcast while you make your breakfast really quickly. Is that a make or break for a relationship? No. Definitely not. Is it a missed opportunity for a connection? Yes. And I think just starting to be aware of those opportunities for connection, the little teeny tiny micro ones, are really important and significant. So just like you pass your partner in like your hallway, or you pass in the living room, hey babe, want to do a little kiss? That's fine. Fist pump, whatever. You all probably know that John Gottman is that famous marriage therapist. He's done a ton of research on couples, and he brings them into like a little apartment, and observes them and does research studies on them. It's very cool. Anyway, he calls these bids for connection. It's a bid, so it's like a little olive branch. And anytime your partner bids for connection, try as much as you can to receive the bid and then also to give a bid back. These are the little micro bids throughout the day. You're going to the store. Hey, I'm going to the store. You need anything? Teeny tiny bid for connection. Now this is a little bit of a bigger thing that I prepared for today. And if you want this, just DM me. I'm happy to just email it to you. I'm going to post it, but next month. So I always encourage couples that I work with to do a, I'm just waving at one of my friends here. Hi, Sada. This is a little bit of a longer sheet, but I always encourage couples that I work with to do, it does not have to happen forever. I always tell people this, but try to do a weekly check-in, like your own little weekly, not therapy session, but just like a 20 minute, hey, we're checking in for the week. It can be over sushi. It can be, on date night. It can just be hanging out on the couch before you watch a TV show together. Doesn't matter, but like a longer weekly check-in. And so I started asking people to do this and they would come back not having done it. And so, the thing I always think first is, okay, well, what have I not? Where's my gap as the therapist? If I have a majority of people not doing a homework that I've given them, what's the deal? And they're just like, we don't know what a check-in looks like. We wouldn't know what to do with that. So again, I think this activity that I'm about to describe is really helpful for couples in struggle, because some things that were once routine have just like tapered out. And so this will sound structured. It'll sound formal. And that might make you say, I don't need something so formal for my relationship. And if not, that's okay. That might mean that you're doing these check-ins more organically and naturally. But for some couples, they're not, and they need this degree of structure. And if you're one of them, it's all good. The biggest thing is just knowing what you need and then doing it. And I promise you, after 2-3 weeks, it'll begin to just become a pattern and a routine. Anyway, so I have this little sheet called the couple check-in. Again, if you want it, just DM me, email me. And basically it's just a sheet that you can take with you and kind of fill out together every week. And it asks questions like, mood-wise, how am I entering the week? How's my partner entering the week? Are there any medical appointments this week? Are there any school appointments this week? Do either myself or my partner have any big work assignments? When is therapy this week? When are we going to connect? And when are we going to have dinner together? Who's going to be preparing meals? So it just kind of goes through the check boxes of a typical week. And then you can just hang it up and it's there to see. I think structure can be very significant and helpful. I'm just looking to see the name of the person who sent this in. Jessica from California. I think that just developing processes when you're during a hard time, because what happens with our brain when we're in struggle, when we don't feel safe, our brain goes to safety mode. What can I do to feel safe? What can I do to not feel discomfort? And that's how we will respond. So we might avoid our partner. We might just think for ourselves, but that's not who we really are. That's ourselves in safety mode. And so what you can do to prevent safety mode is just make a structure. So even if you're feeling irritable, even if you're kind of feeling tired, if you know that on Sunday nights, you go out for hibachi, you watch a movie, and you do your check-in for the week, you don't really need motivation. It's just going to happen because it's already decided, it's already scheduled.